Hi, I'm Joy.
Hi, I'm Lorraine.
And this is Girlish Gurus. And Lorraine, why are we here?
We're here to talk about mid-lifestyle topics for women who are 45 and older to help you live your best, healthiest, and most fulfilled life. We're also going to have lots of fun along the way.
So let's get started.
Lorraine once, maybe.
Oh yeah, you guys have seen each other like for real somehow, right?
Well, we did a pod. I was on Shannon's podcast. That's the last time I think we talked face to face, right?
It is.
Coconut oil. I remember that. Yeah.
We live and die by coconut oil in this house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. We talk about that grown-up girl stuff. Yeah. We talk about the coconut oil a little.
It's one of the best things I've learned in probably the last decade.
Mm-hmm. Coconut oil, Lorraine. There's always some kind of naughty undercurrent going when she's around.
Just so you know, I did hit record so I don't forget. So
okay, now I got to shut my trap.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. We can use that.
Like that
Thank
time.
y'all for having me. This was so nice.
You know,
I'm so excited for y'all in this podcast.
We're having
listened to a couple of episodes and I didn't even know about the macaroni.
Everyday macaroni.
Everyday macaroni.
Yeah.
I think I could listen to that about storytelling. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I good because I'm getting to the bottom of the barrel of people to interview. So if you are interested in being on it, no work on your part. It's just you pop on and record for a little while and then we're done.
I would love that. Let's do it.
I'll reach out to you then. Okay.
So now we can jump into this one.
Yeah.
So how we'll get started. Well, of course, Joy is the producer, so she does all the editing. So I'll let her first give her little spiel.
That's my fun part.
Please know that it's not like intentional. I can have a potty mouth at times, so I'm going to really try to curb it. But if that's an issue, just be like, chill out, Shannon.
Do not concern yourself because we've let a few words fly around here.
Okay.
Too. Yeah. Usually when we're talking about the male medical establishment, sons of bitches. Yeah.
Oh, no worries. We should have it. I would love to pick your brains about Luigi at some point. But
I feel like this could be like a wonderful but yet slightly dangerous collaboration here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally. Totally.
Yes. I love it. Let's see what else. What was I gonna say? I can't think of off the top. If I think of it, I think that's everything.
We'll just get started and then I'll read your bio and introduce you, like after Joy does her little intro.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And so May 7th. So anything you have that you use or whatever, I'll promote it. Like I'll push it out however I can.
Hey. Likewise.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay. Are you all ready? You ready to get going?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to See? All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Girlish Gurus. I'm Joy.
And I'm Lorraine.
Lorraine, what are we talking about today?
Today is a very special day. We have such a wonderful guest that the two of us have known for many years, Shannon Arner. And I'm just going to read her bio for a second and then we'll jump in. So Shannon Arner is one half of Arner Adventures, a lifestyle brand she runs with her husband, Gerry. After burning out from the hustle of owning a business that operated 24/7, and I remember those days, they ditched the grind, downsized, and moved to the coast to live more intentionally. Now they share their minimalist lifestyle, travel adventures, and lessons learned to inspire others to live fully without all the clutter. And I'm learning so much from you. Through their blog, podcast, and brand collaborations, they help people reconnect with what really matters. Welcome, Shannon.
Welcome.
Thank you, ladies. I'm so happy to be here and I'm so happy to see your faces. Oh, amazing. And time flies.
Oh, time does fly. Yes,
yeah, like how so it's been
years. I haven't
17.
Yeah. Well, no, for me, it was before that.
Oh.
I think
you two
I
have
left.
known each other longer than I have
Well, I
known.
thought you meant the last time we saw each other. I was like, oh, it had to have been 2017. That's
Oh.
when we left and everything. But no, Joy. No, gosh. I mean,
It had to be 2016,
oh, I was thinking before that.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's been a really long time.
Yeah, so
Long time.
Shannon and Joy and I were all in a networking group together, and I got to know Shannon pretty well because she
Yeah.
joined one of my women's health groups, and we kind of connected then, and she has just since been one of my favorite people.
Oh, yeah.
Really. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I so missed you when you left and went to the coast, even though I know it's a
oh.
wonderful life for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Likewise. I mean, I respect you both so much with just everything that you've done. And I know you just had a podcast about success, and I define success in different ways than, the norm. So you have been successful in many, many ways, both of you. And I feel the same. So I'm
Yeah.
appreciative.
Aw.
Thanks.
Why don't we
So sweet.
jump in because we have a bunch of questions
Oh,
for
yeah.
you.
So
I'm
many.
excited
Like,
about this.
For real, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, wow, we got to keep this to a minimum because otherwise this episode could be like 70 hours long.
I mean,
know.
and I get so chatty. So just tell me to shut up or just edit this stuff out.
Okay, I'm chatty too. So yeah,
We can have a couple of episodes out of it.
for sure.
So Shannon, what
Mhm.
inspired you and your husband to take this on, to pivot to this minimalist lifestyle? And what surprised you the most about living with less?
Well, I don't even know if I would say that we were inspired as much. And please understand that I don't recommend this for everybody. Okay. Like what we did worked for us, but it may not work for everyone.
Yeah.
I always preface the story with that, but I don't think we had a choice. So Gerry and I, like you said, we worked in a business in the pet industry. It was 24/7. It was sort of like it started pet sitting, walking, but then it sort of became like a home health hospice in addition to it for pets, which was wonderful. And we loved it. I wouldn't change that for the world that we did it. But because of what we had, the pressure we put on ourselves about what was going to be successful, as a business, and on paper, it was successful as a business, but we were really burning out. Our health, our physical health, mental health, all of it was just burning out. And in the span, I'm sure things led up to it, of course, but in the span of a few weeks, we decided something had to give. Like we just could not do this anymore. And the way I describe it is that it really felt like I had this huge weight on me that had to purge. Like I had to just get rid of this life. I had to get rid of the stuff, get rid of the mental clutter, just all of it. And so we listed our house with Jennifer, a real estate agent you both know, and it sold in a day.
Wow.
And we were like, what are we going to do now? And so then we sold all of our stuff. It was us and our dog and a few things. And then we were just like, okay, we had been consulting with a business broker about the business, and we just realized, okay, I would have given it away at that point. So it was more like, let's just do some, pass this client list off to someone. We got to go. And so we left and we moved to the coast, which interestingly enough, Lorraine, in your workshop that I had done with you, what do you call it? The course, the wellness. What would you call it?
It was a wellness group. Yeah, women's health
the wellness
group.
group. Yeah, those sessions. When I did the vision board, I put on there this tiny little cottage at the coast. And I thought, well, one day, I never would have thought within that year that we would have done that. But we moved to a 500 square foot, tiny little home here in Beaufort. And it was the best decision we ever made. So I don't even know if I was inspired to do it as much as I really just don't think we had a choice.
Right.
It was the best decision we ever made. I think Gerry, bless his heart, came along for the ride and probably hoped for the best. But it worked out. I think he would say now too that he wouldn't have changed anything.
So he's very supportive. So that's
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I'm glad you're strong minded to make some decisions that maybe it would take a while for him to make, because I don't think we would have done it if we'd have stopped and thought about it more. I don't think we would have done it.
You can see in all of your social media content and your digital content that you produce, which by the way is fantastic. Anyone who's listening,
Thank you.
If you're not following Arner Adventures, you need to go check it out. Listen to the podcast, check out the social media content, follow. It's really good stuff. You can see how happy he is and how he's an active co-creator. And so
Yeah.
I love that. That's just the
Yeah.
best.
I do too. I do too. You know, when we came here and Arner Adventures didn't really exist, we sort of, I mean, to be honest, I remember when I got on and bought the domain and we just said, oh, Arner's our last name. We're on an adventure. This is crazy. Arner Adventures. But it really started as another way for me to avoid people. Like it was like, I just don't want to deal with the questions about this. I just want to shut that off. But people were calling, and I think people thought they were watching a train wreck. Like they were just like, you can't
They
look
don't
away.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we started out as like a journal. Like we were just writing out what we were doing, and we would get messages of, well, how are you living in 500 square feet? And then we would say, well, we get outside more. Like we're outside more than we ever were. We started a garden, and all these things about our whole life changed. And the more we wrote about it, and the more then we started creating content around it, we realized people may look at it, they may judge it, but a lot of people yearn
Want
for
it.
that sort of freedom.
Mhm.
And I think we as women too, as women business owners, I mean, I did it. I said it. I remember saying all the time, oh, this is just, what a life. You're so free to own your own business. And like, I'm talking myself into it. But I might have been my own boss in a way, but I also had hundreds of bosses. And
Right.
it was not, that was not freedom. That was not what I considered, especially now, freedom. I mean, I
Yeah.
was shackled. I mean,
Yeah.
there was just no leaving that business. So there's a sense of freedom about it. But our community grew because we've been very honest and authentic, and that organic growth took since 2017 until now. But it's been just because we were honest about things, and we weren't that way before.
Yeah. I
Okay.
have to say that, so when you first took this on and you were doing the blogging, and I think it was early on that you wrote about who needs more than 2 coffee cups. That always stuck in my mind. It's like you and your husband, you each need a cup. And I was just like, yeah, well, who needs a cabinet full? When I tell you, my husband makes fun of me because we have cabinets full of glasses and cups and whatever that we never even look at, never mind use. So that just like hit me. It was funny, but it hit me like, yeah, who needs more than 2 coffee cups?
That is such an early blog too, like the
Yeah.
early one. And sometimes I look at our website and our blogs, and since I've learned about SEO, and I used to think, well, just write it. Like it's like the field of dreams. You hope people will just come if you put it out there. And now, yeah, I mean, we still write what we want to write about, but we know how to get people to come see it too. And at that
Yeah.
time, I didn't know. Like I look back sometimes, I'm kind of embarrassed, but I'm like, no,
No,
it's what got us
I
here,
thought it was great. And it's that I'll always just remember that.
That's amazing. And we still only have 2 coffee cups.
Good.
Good for you. The thing that I really connect with you on is how you were talking about you have, I don't know how many bosses, but for me, I had a moment when I was sitting in 341 meetings, and I was waiting for, and that's for anybody who doesn't know, that's the meeting you have to attend when you file bankruptcy, right? Because I was a bankruptcy lawyer. That's one of the areas I practiced in. And it's a mandatory meeting. You got to go, and you're examined by the trustee. And I was waiting for my case to be called. And while I was sitting there waiting for my case to be called, a case was called for this couple who I had filed a Chapter 7 for 7 years before. And I had this moment where I was like, okay, I didn't make a difference. And all of this hard work and all of this being readily available to clients who were in a state of panic. And I was a very hands-on attorney, so they could get to me pretty quickly. I just had this moment where I was like, I'm done. I cannot do that anymore. And that's when I started to transition away from, my license is still good. I'm still maintaining that, but I don't take clients anymore. And I started transitioning away from the active practice of law. And I was talking to a friend about it who was in the bankruptcy community. And I said, I'm not sure what I'm going to do now. And she said, there are other ways to help people. And that sort of clicked in my mind. And that's when I wrote Money Basics. And that's kind of how Lorraine and I connected. And then that's when I got my social media management certificate, which, by the way, I feel like I still don't know what I'm doing. Social media. You're so good at that. And we can talk about that later. But I really felt like I can't do this anymore. I have to move away from that and do something more fulfilling. And that is how I ended up here. And same happened to you.
I think that's interesting because I didn't know that you weren't practicing anymore, like actively practicing. I didn't know that. It's something similar. And I was telling someone else this recently who's going through sort of what Gerry and I went through. I can tell she's in burnout. I can tell it's happening. And she just goes and goes because she's kind of in that same mindset we were, right? That we want to help people and I'm like, no, I have to be there for that. I have to be there for them because if I'm not, who is going to be?
Right.
And I told her, I said, look, I try to think the best of people. I just want you to, and I don't want you to have a negative mindset, but I just want you to get real for a second. If you fell off the earth tomorrow, they're going to figure it out and they're going to find someone pretty quickly. It's not like they're going to say, oh gosh, all right, well, I guess that's it. She was the only one. And I told her, I know so. Like people would tell us like, oh, what would I do without you? But let me tell you, the moment we were in breakdown mode and I thought, I won't make it past, this year. I won't make it.
Yeah.
Do you think one of those people were worried about that? Or do you think that they were like, oh, well, you're the only person that mattered? No, they move on with their lives. And it's not saying that they don't care. It's just people move on with their lives. And
that's
so
human nature.
Yeah.
It's self-preservation.
It is. And so we want to help people and we want to make a difference. But I think more so now it's like, well, on my terms.
Right.
Like I'm going to decide how much of me I'm going to give away and how much of me that actually does make a difference, or what do I think makes a difference, or let me push and see if I can make more of a difference. And no, it's not like that anymore.
Gosh, that's so powerful. And really, that's going to resonate, I think, with our audience because our demographic is basically us. It's women who are over 45 and they're in midlife. And so one of the questions I have is when you are in midlife and you're looking to transition, how do you go about doing it? How did you go about doing that? And what's a good place to start? I mean, how can we pass on to our listeners the best way for them to begin to consider their next chapter?
I think there's two parts to this. I think number one, there has to be some kind of a shift in your mind to not care what people think about that change.
Oh, preach.
Like, I mean, I just think the moment you go, well, what are people going to think? Or this isn't really the norm, or this isn't what I've always done. And they're going to think I'm crazy, or they're going to think, I think the moment you start doing that, you're going to talk yourself out of it. And I think another thing is when Gerry and I don't have kids, but we still were in that mindset of what we were supposed to have, the house. And well, I'm not downing this, but why did we need 2 guest rooms? It was just us. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But I think a lot of women, when they have children and they're in this point of their life, the children are gone. I think the first thing to do on a physical part is to look at your physical space. And like, if you want to make a transition, it doesn't have to be like ours, downsizing, but if it is, or if it's a different part of your life, just look at your physical space, the people around you, the space around you, the junk around you. Do you need all this stuff? I mean, I think a lot of times when you get rid of the physical clutter, it helps to start getting what is the mental clutter that's there that's preventing you from doing whatever it is you want to do. And I think so much about that. I say there's 2 lives. There's like that previous life we had and the now. And I just think, I don't understand. Like we would make really good money and then buy things because we thought it was going to impress people that we didn't really like. Like, it's like, why were we even doing that? And then we have all this stuff around us. And it's like, why? And I don't even think you realize it. So I think you have to assess your physical space and get rid of the things and the people and the tasks and the obligations and the things that you don't even want to be doing. And then stop caring what people think about it if you say no. Because here's the thing, nobody even really cares that much. We think they do, but they don't.
As a mom of 3 adult children, I'm just putting the word out there to anybody who may be a Gen Xer or a baby boomer. Your kids don't want your stuff.
They don't.
I spent so much time putting together scrapbooks that I think I did it for my son. My daughter saw it and said, Mom, it's okay. You don't need to do it for us. So instead, all the stuff that I had carted from house to house to house from the time that they were
my God.
preschool to whenever, we sat down one day, went through it. They kept anything they wanted and the rest went in the trash. And we had the best time just going through it. So, but now
Yeah.
it's so hard. I mean, because I've always
It
been
is
that
hard.
person that was the keeper of the family history.
Yeah.
Nobody really
Yes.
cares about it anymore.
No.
Nobody wants any of that. So I'm trying to do my best to get rid of it.
When my grandmother passed away, and then and it really hit me when that happened, that we were all in her house just going through just so much crap and things that she saved of ours because we gave them to her when we were 4,
Aw.
and then we feel this guilt, and it's like, I
Right.
don't want anyone to feel that guilt. Like,
Yeah.
they're already, mourning and going through a loss, and then to have that, not that she did that on purpose, but
No.
I will tell my mom sometimes, like, don't keep my high school, whatever. Well, I'm going to get rid of it. Get rid of it. I don't want it.
And don't
If
tell
I didn't
me.
even know you had it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I didn't even know you had it, get rid of it. Like, I don't want it. Yeah. Nobody does care. And you think that they will, but they don't.
No. But
Right.
actually knowing that the kids don't want it, and when they told me you don't have to make those, there was a big relief that I had.
Yeah, because it's
Ah,
work.
Because it's like,
emotional
I felt
labor.
obligated. I felt an
Yeah.
obligation that I had to create these books for them. And
mm,
It's
so there was
emotional
quite a
labor.
bit of relief.
emotional labor. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I'm
So
excited for you.
Shannon, another
Mhm.
part of your Instagram that I absolutely love. First of all, I love the color that you do. I was talking about that with Joy,
Oh,
but is your travel. And because
yeah.
I am a travel person.
I
I'm going
know
on
you
about
are, and I
6
can't wait to
retreats.
go on a retreat with you one day.
Yay.
Joy
Same
and I are
here.
planning one.
Yep. Get ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you've traveled a lot. How do you balance that adventure with intentional living and sustainability?
So with the business that we had, we never traveled. I mean, we couldn't,
You couldn't.
Mm-mm.
no, we could not. I mean, because if there was, even with our staff, if there was an emergency, we were the backup and we had to take care of things. So we could not travel. So the first thing, once the dust settled, from what we had done, we were like, oh my gosh, like we can go here, we can go here, we can go do things. Or so we started out small, and then it kind of got bigger. And when we started writing about the feeling of that, of, oh my gosh, like, not only are we able to travel, but it's also opening our minds more to the important things in life. And there's that book that the hospice nurse wrote. I know that she
Their
wrote about
regrets.
the regrets of
Yes.
the dying. And one of the biggest things is that people would say they wish they would have traveled more.
Mhm.
And I read that book, and I just thought, we have to go as many places as we can. We have to take advantage of this opportunity. So at first we were just like, go, 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 and checking the box, checking the box. But then it was more like, well, this doesn't really align. Like, we need to be learning. I fully believe everyone should travel, because I think that's the problem with society, and that would be a whole other podcast, is people's minds aren't open to other cultures. They don't understand anything outside of their bubble. And I think once you do, it starts making you start assessing things more, like, your own space and your own ideals. And so we started more and more learning about, like, slow travel and sustainable travel, and having more intention. So if we went somewhere, I didn't have to go, okay, what are the top 10 things that we have to do? It's like, well, I want to know about what there is to do here, but if we only get to one of them, it's okay. Like, we can come
Mhm.
back, but at least we really lived that experience instead of checking the box and seeing all the things and hurrying. So I think the balance for us is definitely traveling when the opportunities come up, but really immersing ourselves in, well, what makes that place different about our own place? And it could be a different state, a different county, it could be different country. But I think for us, it's been really important, and we feel like it resonates so much with our lives because of that part of it, about really, like, the enrichment part of the travel and the places that we go to is, it's so much more intentional.
Well, you do such a wonderful job of showing that in your posts that I want to be you when I grow up.
Same. Mm.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I wouldn't admit this to anyone. I tell anybody this, that we do use Lightroom. We have a filter that we put in a lot of our pictures.
I know, but
Um,
it's still,
but
I mean, obviously, because a lot of the
yeah, the
colors the same,
blues.
but
Yeah.
but still, just the content of where you've been, and I love some of Jerry's drinks, and so a lot of the things that
Yeah.
you do. It's fun, it's
Yeah.
inviting, and it's
Oh, yeah.
inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's nice to hear. I think social media is one of those delicate things. Like I love it so much because it has grown our community and like-minded people, and I can now go places and feel like I know someone there because of social media. Then there's another part where you can get
Right.
on there and you can feel like, well, how
Less
come my
than.
life doesn't
Yeah.
look like theirs? And we talk about it on the podcast all the time. I'm like, yeah, this was so great. Please understand that when you see social media pictures, we picked the best out of 100, and we
Right,
picked,
right.
Yeah. It's curated. Yeah.
it's
Intentionally.
curated,
Yeah. Sure.
intentionally curated. So I feel like our blog and our podcast is more of a narration of those things to really explain, but it does pull people in to see places that they might not have gone before. And that's meaningful, especially to a lot of places that we've been that I feel like needs more attention.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's one destination that changed your perspective on life and how you live day to day?
Puerto Plata in Dominican Republic. The first time we were ever there was on a Virgin Voyages cruise, which, by the way, I wasn't even a cruiser before, but Virgin Voyages, and this is not a commercial for them, but they're wonderful for people who don't have kids and want to invest in a travel experience where they don't have to deal with the water slides and the goldfish and the
Yes.
pool and all that stuff. Anyway, so we were actually we were working with Virgin Voyages, and Richard Branson does a really great job of when he chooses ports that they're going to work with, he chooses ports where they really need it. And he's very intentional about that, and we love that. But we'd never been to this part of Dominican Republic. So we got off the ship, and it's very poor, and it's very, very different than what we're used to here in America. Most places are. But when we got off the ship, we did not invest in an excursion. We were like, let's just walk around. We're going to figure it out. Well, when we started walking around, there were officers with big machine guns and very different. And we were like, what? Okay, this is very different. But long story short, we ended up walking a few blocks and found this rum distillery, and they welcomed us like we were family, and they were so happy for us to be there. And we had this wonderful day with this family and would not have had that experience. And then we walked back, and they explained, we started talking to them about they were like, no, our officers just carry those. And they said they want to protect, they want the tourists to feel safe because we depend on you.
That's interesting.
And so I learned, okay, I don't need to always judge things by, if they have machine guns, that doesn't mean it's crime ridden. It means that in their minds, they were like, we needed the tourists to feel safe.
Mhm.
And so we've been back several times since and gotten to know more of the people there and the people who own businesses there. And it's really changed our mindset. I mean, they are very poor, but they don't want all these things that we feel like they should have. Like, they have this beautiful beach, and someone told us recently, well, yeah, when our older people start getting sick, they just go to the beach more. We just tell them go get the salt water, and it helps our people live longer, and it has touched us in a way that nowhere else has. It's just beautiful people, beautiful place. I highly recommend it.
That's wonderful.
Hey, Lorraine, don't forget, it's time for us to schedule our Lifeline screening appointments. They're 5 simple tests to help us keep on top of our heart and bone health, which is important for women over 45.
Yes, Lifeline Screening has been the premier provider of preventative health screening for over 30 years. In that time, over 10 million people have had screenings to detect their risk of stroke, cardiovascular disease, and other chronic illnesses. Lifeline Screening can provide meaningful benefits for your body and mind, and that's why they're committed to delivering accurate results and recommendations that could give you a healthier advantage in your everyday life, such as early detection of serious conditions, prevention of disease progression, peace of mind so you can enjoy life, savings with more affordable screenings, and no insurance required.
Yep, and don't forget, by using the link in the show notes of this episode, you get a special offer available to Girlish Gurus listeners, so make sure and schedule your appointment.
Get peace of mind now. Here's to your good health.
Yeah.
Well, I love how we're talking about your social media and how it's curated, but to me, it shows you what's possible. The places you go, and you've actually created such an incredible lifestyle brand marketing business. It's so inviting, and it's just like a breath of fresh air whenever you're scrolling through all those other kinds of things and one of your posts pops up. I love looking at it. It's like looking at a travel brochure. It's lovely.
Oh.
And anybody, again, go check it out. They're so much fun to follow around and see what you're doing. And my question is, okay, so you've built this business, you've got this whole other life. Your life is just completely different now. How does that compare with your life before in terms of success? What does success look like to you now? Because I feel like, much like myself, I had a successful career and now I'm embarking on something completely different. And just the comparison of the two is something that is endlessly fascinating to me. So how does that look to you? Does it compare?
I think, well, thank you, first of all. I think I'm so thankful that we went through all of it. I mean, when I think about that, sometimes I do. I mean, I'm in therapy about it. I have a lot of PTSD about it. And when I think about just the push and caring so much about those numbers and what I thought was important and all of that, I don't think I would have, number one, I wouldn't have had the life I have now, but I wouldn't appreciate the things I appreciate now if I hadn't gone through that. Like when you were saying that the travel stuff about this is what life can be or it's possible. I mean, I am very upfront about this. We do not make close to the money we made before, but our lifestyle doesn't need that. As long as we're paying our bills and we're setting aside money for retirement and we're taking care of ourselves, to us, that is number one important, and that's success. Whereas before, it was so much of, I just remember every month looking at that number and going, it has to go up, has to go up. And then the next month it would go up. And I would feel like that's success. No, it has to go up. And it would go up and that's success. It never was attainable. It would never. And then what would have happened if it would have doubled, tripled, quadrupled the next year? We would have just been busier, more frazzled. I have a lot of control issues, so I was never going to let it go for someone else to just operate. I was never going to do that.
You would have missed out on a lot.
Yeah. And what happens to you is physically you dump all of your energy and health and wellness into that. And then, you might have money on the other side, but you're spending it on trying to fix your healthcare issues. You know?
Yes, 100%. I mean, I think, Lorraine, I've probably talked to you about this. It might have even been on my podcast, but when we made that big change and life changed completely for us, we became so much healthier. I lost like 75 pounds. And this was,
wow.
I still get haters and trolls saying, just admit you had surgery, or just admit, first of all, I would have had it sponsored. Okay. I would have had somebody take care of it. It really was this lifestyle change. And I didn't even realize how unhealthy I was because I don't know. I didn't take care of myself, and I was going to the doctor every year. They sure didn't even tell me. And I'm not, that's a whole other thing. But we were outside more. We were active. We were moving. You have 500 square feet of a home. You want to be out doing stuff, and you want to be active and traveling and taking care of yourself and growing our garden and all of the things together. And it didn't happen overnight. I mean, it happened over a few years. It was right when COVID hit. So that was 3 years later is when I started going, wow, my blood work is different. And
wow.
Oh, wow. Like I can breathe better when I'm, running around with Betty, our dog at the time. And it was noticeably, life was more enjoyable. And it was all of those things together. And so for us, success is the health aspect too. It's like so much of those things it really has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing, success has nothing to do with the money. I just want to be content. And I don't even ask for sunshine and rainbows. I'm not asking for glitter every day.
Right.
I just want contentment. I just want to be able to breathe and feel good about myself. And
love that.
that's something we did not have before.
That's
Yep.
so refreshing. I mean, really. And I think that will probably hit a lot of people out there right where they need to hear it and maybe didn't even realize they needed to hear it. Because I
Yeah.
think there was a time when you weren't, how do I want to say it? I just remember in the group, I remember you being very stressed, but I don't think you were ready at that moment for
Right.
this transition.
No, I wouldn't have been. I
Yeah.
really don't think I was going to be ready until it happened. I mean, I just don't.
Yeah.
I think it was I used to say it was like the perfect storm, but I don't even want to say that because it led to this beautiful thing for us. I mean,
Right.
all the hardships and all the, our dog at the time who passed away, it was like our child. Now, with all these things that were happening, it happened for a reason. And I'm able to see now that, yeah, there really was happiness on the other side where I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have thought that. I just wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, that's right.
And when we talk about, like, when I say, we don't make nearly the money, it's like, but I feel richer because I'm able to have experiences and I'm able to travel. And we do like have more money in our bank account than we did because we were
Yes,
just
because you
spending
don't
it
have
all
to pay
the time.
salaries. You don't have to pay
And
salaries
salaries and
yes.
payroll taxes
and all that stuff. Yeah.
all that stuff. Oh my gosh. And I will say, someone asked me one time, they said, don't you think this is I don't know, like a first world choice that you can make? And I'm like, I don't think it was a choice. I think it really happened because
Yeah.
I don't think I had a choice. I don't think I would be here today still if I still had that life. And so for us, living with less and choosing to live with less and choosing to live a different way, it's purely attainable. Like it's just attainable. You just have to put yourself first and you just have to do it. You
Right.
just have to do it. Whether it's starting a new business, whether it's making a different lifestyle change, and where do you start? If you have it in your head, go do it because you just can't care what everybody else thinks
That's
about
right.
it.
You can't. You really can't. And you're in
Yeah.
your position for a reason. I had someone tell me one time, you're going to give yourself a heart attack. And I was pretty young and I thought to myself, no, this is just how it is. This is when you're practicing and you're doing this and you're doing that. And I just look back on that now thinking to myself, probably.
I used to hear that all the time too. And I think in my head, it was the same way. I was like, but that's hustle culture, baby. Like, I got to keep going. Like, I got to
Right.
hustling. You're not. So I'm going to be more successful than
That's
you.
right.
And no, I'm going to be dead. And
Right.
that's not cute.
No,
No.
that is not cute. No, it
Yeah,
is
I know
not.
women tend to wear hustle as a badge of honor.
Mhm.
So you used to have a
Oh,
mug that
I
said
didn't
it.
get any sleep. I can't sleep. I've got too much to do. I've got too much on my plate. And they may not even realize they're wearing it as a badge of honor, but they are, and
Mhm.
not
Totally
realizing
agree.
what it's doing to their life, to their
Totally
health.
agree.
Yeah.
Yes. Which you know better than anybody. And yeah,
For
but like you
sure.
said, I mean, I learned so much from you, Lorraine, and I still carry the things I learned from that, but I just wasn't actively practicing them then. But I'm
Yeah.
glad I have it because now I have the knowledge and I can
Yeah.
practice those things. And yeah.
Yeah. I
Powerful stuff.
appreciate that.
Very powerful stuff for sure.
So, how do you keep your creativity flowing? And I'm sure people have asked you this, living and working from a small space. Do you find yourself, well, I mean, you've shared travel is a lot of your creativity, so you're already out
Yeah.
of the house, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every morning, and I've never not done it, rain, sleet, snow, since I made that change, 2017. Every morning I take a walk, a long walk, at least an hour. Sometimes it's an hour and a half. And it's easier by the water. I feel like for me to
Oh.
clear my head and just I have to start my day that way. I'll just share with you, like, we have a brand campaign with an airport that we were trying to do some content for. And I've been like stressed about it. It's a big deal. I've been pretty stressed about it. And I'm like, I want it to be authentic. And this morning I'm on my walk and I'm just like thinking about different things. And hands to God, you can't make this up. These two dolphins And the seeing dolphins never gets old, never.
I know.
And they're right there, and these two go, and I'm like, oh, and I get all emotional, and it's like a big deal. And then I'm just standing there, and I'm just thinking, gosh, I just always want to appreciate this. I always want to appreciate it. And then I turn around, I walk around, and then the idea for what I was going to do came into my head, and it was so simple. And I was like, why didn't I even just think about that? So I think, first of all, it sounds cheesy, but I think you got to get out of your environment and get outside.
I cannot
And
agree more. I think that is
Yeah.
so true.
it's so beneficial mentally and physically. So like during my work day, and I'm working home here, and I use the Pomodoro method. I don't know if you know what that is, but you literally set a 25-minute timer, and you say, okay, for 25 minutes, I am only concentrating on this focused
heard that,
task.
yeah.
So it could be that I have to work on a blog, and it takes me longer than 25 minutes to do a blog, but I have to stay focused, and I'm not going to veer off. The timer goes off, and I think the rule is to take 5 minutes. I do 10, and I always walk outside. If it's, walking around the house, just literally laps around the house, if it's just standing on the porch or whatever, but I have to get out of my environment. And usually when I do that, something will click. Oh, when you get back, make sure that this is the idea or whatever it is. Those ideas and the creative moments come when I get outside. And I know now, like when we're traveling, get as many pictures, as much video as you can, and just figure it out later. Don't try to do it right now, but just figure it out
Enjoy
later.
the moments, but you can still be getting,
Yes.
well, like Joy always says that everything is content.
Don't forget
It
to
is.
film it. Everything is content. Yeah.
It is. Literally, sometimes like my mom has a business, and I'll say, Mom, please just set up the phone and hit record while she makes candles. I'm like, while you're making candles, just a few seconds of that. Like that's content. Just do it. So yeah, I am mindful of my phone, but when I'm working and I'm at home, I am on do not disturb most of the time. Like I cannot think of a time I'm not on do not disturb. I just don't want to be bogged down by that. I would get rid of my phone if I could.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of love my phone. Is that bad?
It's a love-hate relationship.
It
I mean,
is.
it really is.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't be in business without it.
Well, that is
basically.
true.
No,
That is
Not
true.
not at all.
nowadays.
Okay, so we've kind of talked about this a little, but I feel like our demographic, they are looking for their next chapter. And what would you say to, say, a woman over 45 who is stuck and just can't make a move? Where would you start if you were you, but not you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the easiest thing that comes to my mind is you just got to do it. I think it's easier said than done, but it's also very easy to do. I mean, I did it. And again, it's hard. It is hard. And it's hard for people to make transitions. But I think most women get caught up. And like I said, in caring, because the first thing you do is when you think about, well, I want to do this, or whether it's travel, whether it's a business, whether it's paint, whatever it is, first thing you do is, what's someone still going to think about that? Or what? Well, I don't know. Like if someone comes over, what are they going to say? Or, we think so much of ourselves and what other people think.
It's true.
And I'm just like, I've told this story before that, on our podcast, but I'll make it really quick. We were at a cookout probably like 2 years ago. And, you can tell there's people who think a different way than you do and all that. And I knew we were in that kind of a situation. And he did the whole thing. Well, what do you do? And I hate that question, first of all. It's like, well, I live my life. I'm trying to live my life. Aren't you? Like, let's just try to get
Do
through
the
it.
best I can.
Right.
The best I can. And I knew what he was saying. And I kind of was like, we're gonna have to tell a little bit of the story. And I kind of went into it, and he's just looking at us and shaking his head, and he's a business owner. And I thought he'll appreciate
Well, so are
it.
you.
But I was thinking he'll appreciate like that's, the burnout and all of that. And I thought, okay, he'll get it. And Gerry and I are telling him the story, and then he's just shaking his head, and he goes, I guess you're just living on love, aren't you? And I said, yeah, Yeah, I think we are. I mean, that we weren't before. And we just walked away and Gerry said, that used to would have bothered me. He said, I think why do they get so defensive? And he said, I think he wants to have
Jealous.
that kind of a freedom.
Yeah.
And so I think to myself, I was super anxious about, and that's why we started the blog. I didn't want to face anybody. I didn't want anyone to say, you're really screwing up. Like, I can't believe you did. And we would hear some people, well, your client said they just could not believe you did that. Like, what have you given up? What have you done? Well, no, I'll tell you what I gave up all that time. I gave up a lot. And so I just think we have to stop caring what other people think. And like I said, whether it's about what meal you're going to make tonight, whether, you're going to buy a new car, whatever it is, as long as you're not hurting anyone and you're not hurting yourself, who gives a shit? Just do what you want to do. And you're going to be so fulfilled if you really are yearning for something in your 40s, your 50s, your 80s, that you did it finally. And that, you're not going to be somebody who's on their deathbed wishing that they had done that thing. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? If the result is not, I could die, okay, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Right.
What other reason would you have? I mean, just do it.
Yeah.
It sounds so simple.
I
It
know.
kinda is.
I think Joy and I both live by that rule.
Yes.
Right. And we're just like, do something every day that makes you excited, no regrets. And like
Yeah.
travel is a big one for me. It's like, I want to go as
Yeah.
many places as I can for as long as I can. And in that regard, we want to stay as healthy as we can for as long as we can.
Right.
Yes.
And don't beat our bodies up and make as much of a difference as we can for as long as we can.
Yeah.
So Shannon, do you miss your old life at all? And are there any doubts or what ifs?
I do not miss it.
I didn't think so.
Sometime every once in a while I'll go, well, what if I would have just done this differently? Or what if when things really started taking off, what if I would have changed this? Or what if I would have let go? But I think nowadays I don't have anything about my life that is not literally, I'm so grateful and I'm so, hell yes, I'm so glad I did this. And that never was the case before. So the what ifs do come. I think that's probably normal, but they are quickly snuffed out by the gratitude for just anything I can have now. And 2024 was a really hard year for us, just emotionally, and we lost Betty, our dog, and it's just a whole year of just, it seems like all these things were going just terribly. But the difference is I really was able to start seeing things that I'm grateful for, where I just couldn't even see it before. I couldn't even stop. I mean, I couldn't stop to even try to have a gratitude practice. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. I just didn't stop.
Yeah.
And so I just think things become more clear when you're in a space that you enjoy. And so for that, I never think, what if I was back there? That would be great. Never.
Yeah, we can tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have one last question for you. Joy will ask you now.
Okay. So when we have guests with just such a rich philosophy as you do, then we want to wind up the episode by asking you, what 3 things would you have told your younger self, so we can pass some of that philosophy on to our audience?
I could cry thinking about that.
Same here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first thing I've said several times is please stop giving a shit what people think. Like, oh, please don't do that. And that people on that same one, people just are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. They're just not. They're not going, why did she wear that dress? They're just not. They're not thinking about. I would say number 1 is please stop thinking about that. It's kind of same, but number 2 is don't be afraid to take those risks. I had a therapist ask me once, if there were no risks involved, would you make this decision? And I think about that sometimes. I'm like, but kind of like I said earlier, if you're not going to die or you're not going to hurt anyone, just do it. Like,
Yeah.
Who cares? Like if it's money you're scared of, whatever, if the end comes, you're not gonna regret taking those risks. Gosh, the third thing, I don't know. It's hard to say. I want to say, do all of this earlier so you could have more of your life. But
yeah.
I've heard you both say on one of your podcasts that there's something to be said about like having, I can't remember the way you worded it, but it's having that experience, having that sort of seasoning that
The
in your life.
failures.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you have to have those failures. And so, number 3 is sort of, I don't know. I don't even think it would be possible to make the decisions I made earlier. But yeah, I think just do, if you have the goal and the vision board and all those things, and I totally believe in manifesting and I believe in all of that. I just think that don't just look at the vision board. Like, don't just look at it and have the one day. It's like, really just do it.
Right.
So they probably all mean the same thing, but those are the 3.
Make it happen.
Oh,
Make it
yeah, for
happen.
sure. And,
Yeah.
I think there is value in saying, make it happen earlier, even though you feel like, well, that might not be possible. But to have that encouragement from someone who's done what you have done to say, yeah, you can do it. That is so valuable and powerful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And sometimes
Yeah.
that's all we need someone who is doing it so that we can look at that and say, it's possible.
Totally. It's sort of like when you have a goal of something, whether it's career wise or anything physical or whatever, you start looking for other people who've done it. It's like you want to know, it can I do? Is this possible? Or yeah, I too think that's really important, is to know that it is attainable and that there's the regrets. I mean, is there any regret? I don't know. I always think you could probably do something different, but yeah, there's no regrets.
Good. Oh, that's wonderful. I think
Yeah.
you can't get any better than that. I think
Yeah.
that says it
Oh.
all.
So Shannon, tell
Yeah.
everyone where they can find you. I know that there's Instagram, maybe you have a website that you can share, and we will put
Yeah.
links to this in the show notes as well.
Well, thank you. I always just give everybody the website's the home base for everything. ArnerAdventures.com. That's ARNER, like Garner without the G. ArnerAdventures.com. It's our blog. We have, resources and all these different things, but then you can sort of go off from there to Instagram or sign up for our newsletter, find out about our podcasts, all of those good things. So that's the home base.
Yeah, I know all the ladies listening will be doing that because
Yes.
you are an inspiration. You truly are. And you need to go follow her on Instagram because you will just be so inspired by all her beautiful posts.
Oh,
I
well,
love it.
likewise. You two are so inspirational. And I'm so glad you're doing this podcast. I'm so glad. It's like such a value that you're putting out into the world. And you both should feel like that you're doing something really good.
Absolutely. And I'm having just a ball. It's a blast.
So glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. And Lorraine, again, not that people don't have hardships and triumphs, but I feel like, Lorraine, you're just living this life that you just want anyway. And I just feel like it's like you just go with the flow. And I know things look easier on the outside, but you both are just an inspiration. And I'm so
thanks.
thankful.
Thank you.
Aw.
And we do miss you, and we want to come to
Oh, yeah.
Beaufort and visit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We don't have space for you to stay at our house.
No, that's okay. We can manage that.
We'll bring a
But
tent.
Yes. We have lots of, hotels and Airbnbs. They're building a new Margaritaville, which is crazy. I don't even like to think
Really?
about it, but yes.
That would be a fun time. We need to
Would
make that happen.
So much fun. And I want to know more about your retreat. And
Yes,
I'm going
we would
to
love
follow
to
and make
have
sure
you.
I know
Oh my
about
gosh, that would
Yes.
it would be awesome.
it.
Awesome.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
When you were talking about getting out of your environment, that is one of the reasons why we're doing those retreats, because that's where you have those epiphany moments where you're like, oh, this is what I should be doing, or maybe here's an idea, or here's how I can solve that problem, or whatever. Yeah. Getting out of your environment. That's a big one.
Connecting with other like-minded women, and
Yes, there's something to be
yeah.
said about that. And also not having, I loved the networking group we were in. it did fuel my hustle culture though. Like it fueled that. And so I think being able to recognize some things that work for you, and maybe if it's no longer serving you, that's okay. I mean, seasons change, your life changes, and what you need changes. And I love situations like that where you can get away and be in an environment with other women who are maybe on the same path, or maybe, a little bit different, but they're looking for support in different ways.
And find a renewal of some sort,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Shannon,
Oh.
thank you so much again for
Yeah.
being here. We love you.
Oh, we do.
I
Thank
love
you.
you both so much, and I'm
Aw.
so appreciative.
Yeah.
Aw, thank you so much. All right. Well, that's it for today's episode. And again, check out the show notes if you want to hook up with Shannon on her website and see some of their mini adventures and all the other things that they're doing. Please go over and check it out. Also, we are posting extended versions of the podcast episodes on YouTube, so check out our YouTube channel. And there's more fun episodes coming up, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Mwah. Okay, that was excellent. Oh my gosh, it was so good. That's
Yes.
Gosh, do you know, this morning I was on my walk and I was thinking about this coming up, and I was like, just don't cry.
Oh, I know.
Cry.
I had a couple of moments there where I was like, oh my God, I didn't expect to cry here. I gotta clamp it down. Clamp it down.
That's how I was. Sometimes when I'm trying not to cry, I start biting. It's terrible. I start biting the sides of my tongue. Like, don't cry. Don't cry.
You should see my cuticles. I'm like, no.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm
We
the
can do it in
same way.
person when we see each other. We
Yes.
can hug and cry.
Oh, I really hope that if you guys were to come, that would be amazing. I would love
We
it.
do have to make a plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm serious. I wasn't just saying that. I want to do it.
Yeah.
We had
You were
talked about
talking
it
once
before.
before. I
Yeah.
know. People
Yeah.
say it all the time, though, and they don't do it.
I know.
Well-
So we're going to do it. We're doing it. We're hanging up and we're doing it.
That's for sure.
I would love that. And I do want to know about this retreat. So I'm just going to follow along and wait for you to
Well,
announce
the one
it.
that
and hope.
Joy and I are going to do. But Joy
Mhm.
and I are doing Sedona in October 2026.
Oh, then that's plenty of time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. October
And
2026.
and there may be one in France before that, but we're going to work on that.
Okay.
Well, France is going to take a little longer because
Oh yeah.
we have a specific, I don't know. Lorraine and I just started talking about it, but whenever we get together, we're like, oh yeah, and this, and then that, and then this, and then that. Oh yeah. So
oh
fun.
my gosh.
No, she didn't. She's mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is why we make such a good team, because I get things wrong.
There was a conference I was at. I think it was Blog Her, and you messaged me and said me and Joy were there. And I was
Well,
like, what?
we went in 2018.
2018.
I think I went right before COVID, so it must have been 19,
Oh, I think
right?
we
Or
were
20.
the year before. And I
Okay.
was down in my deep hole. Yeah. So where I was
Oh.
like, big transition, not knowing what I was doing. Oh yeah. Menopause. Oh my God. I gained 20 pounds.
Oh.
I just was, it was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah. But
Yeah.
Lorraine held my hand through it.
I'm sure she did. I mean, Lorraine's held many of hands.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Thank the Lord for sure.
I know. This is such a great partnership, and I'm so glad that you two have found this, and I'm glad
She's
that
my Gerry.
We just need to be making the drinks.
oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
What that?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we can make that happen.
I had to cut those back. I could feel the inflammation. I'm not kidding. Two things. I could feel the
Mhm.
inflammation. You know what else happens? What happens. I wake up in the middle of the night, wide
Take it
awake,
back to sleep.
with that
Right.
sugar spikes.
Right.
And I know that because of you. But I started realizing, gosh, this Aperol spritz, I mean, they're great, but I can't have them like they're water. I can't do it all the
No.
time.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but COVID was big for our drink making.
Yeah.
But
For a lot
He-
of people.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
starting to get into more mocktails, but still they have a lot of sugar and all that.
Yeah.
So I still have to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I know you're traveling a lot, right, Shannon?
Yeah.
So when are you around? I'm traveling a lot too, so that we can make this happen, because I want to make this happen.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, there's times when we're not like, I mean, I'm leaving again, but yeah, but I mean, if you were looking at a weekend, I'm, I was here last weekend, or, there's weekends that I'm here and different things. And plus you guys are probably the same way. Sometimes it's like, why don't we just look at during the week? We can,
Yeah, during the week is fine.
yeah.
That works for
So
me.
so sometimes that we might be here for that or whatever.
All right, I'll send you, Joy and I will talk. I'll send you a couple of options and you let me know.
It's really
if you're
going to
in there.
happen.
Oh,
It's
yes,
gonna
for
happen.
sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Get ready, girl.
I'm so happy.
Yes.
This just made my day. I'm so happy.
I
made
can't
my
wait.
day being on your podcast too, but this made my day. I'm so excited.
All right.
All
let's make a
right,
plan,
Shannon.
girls.
So we will send you those dates and we'll make a plan and have lots of fun
can't
together.
wait.
And
I
create
cannot wait.
content.
We'll all have our phones going.
That's all right.
Of course.
Thank y'all
Right
so
here.
much. I really
All right.
appreciate this.
All right. Take
So
care.
fun. So
Y'all
fun.
too.
Bye.
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 Thanks for listening to this episode of Girlish Gurus. We hope you'll join us next time for more fun and inspiration. Be sure to check the description of this episode for links and information about the topic, and you can find us on our social media platforms starting with Instagram, Facebook, and now including YouTube. You can find us by searching Girlish Gurus, and you can also check out our website, girlishgurus.com, for more information on us, our projects, books, and our growing community.
And don't forget to download this episode, give it a good review, and share it with your girlfriends. We would also love to hear from you in the comments because the more interaction we get, the more episodes we can post. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.